What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your man Matt here with an epic edition of Matt's Movie Moments. Today I bring to you the Black Panther spoiler free review. Now, as you can see, I'm representing this film with my Black Panther shirt. I tried to find some claws to, go with it, but I couldn't find any, but no worries. I'll probably find some around Halloween season and also pick up a mask to go with it. But anywho, this was the first anticipated movie for not only comic book fans, but for African Americans as well. And it's perfect since we are in the midst of Black History Month, as Marvel is giving us the first black superhero movie on screen. Now, yes, I know we have had movies in the past like Spawn, but he's really a demon. Blade is actually a vampire hunter, and his trilogy of films weren't, too memorable. As well as Hancock, that was played by Will Smith, that wasn't memorable either. And it questions me and others if black superheroes were meant to endure in the mainstream, especially with how things are run in Hollywood nowadays and etc. 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 However, with this film, I believe they put a lot of emphasis on the word super in hero. To give a brief synopsis, this movie takes place in both the past and present, where we get a brief history of the Black Panther and how T'Challa becomes King of Wakanda after the events of Captain America's Civil War. Killmonger, he arrives on the scene and tries to steal the throne from T'Challa. That's it. I will say no more because I don't want to spoil anything else. So, without further ado, let us dive deeper into this movie. There is so much I want to talk about and discuss, but I will do my best not to reveal too much so that you guys can go out and enjoy the movie when you guys get a chance. First of all, I want to give a special shout out and a huge round of applause to the director, Ryan Coogler, who was assigned to direct this movie. He so far is on a 3 film winning streak from Fruitvale Station, Creed, which I personally loved. I cannot recount how many times I've seen that film. Creed was an absolutely amazing film. And of course, Black Panther. When it was announced that Coogler was going to direct this movie, I had no complaints, no issues about it. I had faith in him. I had faith in him that he would pull it off. I mean, he's already put out 2 great movies before, and taking on the challenge of Black Panther would be a great fit for him. Originally, Ava DuVernay was going to be the director of this movie, but she backed down because she didn't feel comfortable directing a Marvel movie and it wouldn't fit her vision. But Ryan Coogler, like I said, he was a good fit. He gets a lot of praise for making this movie stand out by giving it a serious tone, and it had very little comedy. However, the comedy that was there was needed in certain scenes of the movie, and it wasn't that much of a distraction as we were enjoying this movie, unlike Star Wars The Last Jedi. But we've already been there with that. As for the cast, you have an all-star cast of actors and actresses. Some of these people have been nominated or have won Oscars. Like, of course, you have Chadwick Boseman as the star. He's recently played Thurgood Marshall. He's also been James Brown and Jackie Robinson from 42. So Chadwick Boseman, he's taking on the role of Black Panther. You have Michael B. Jordan. He did an amazing job portraying the villain of this movie, Killmonger, from his intimidating dialogue and the brutal actions that you see within this movie brought out the high stakes that this movie presented. You also have Lupita Nyong'o, Forrest Whitaker, Andy Serkis, the dude from Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out. He was in there. He did an amazing job. You had Sterling K. Brown and Angela Bassett. Speaking of Angela Bassett, as I was watching her, she has the gray hair and she had the African accent on point. She would have been a really great Storm. Now, I know, Halle Berry, she's been a great Storm throughout the years, but after watching Angela Bassett in this movie, how she looked with the gray silver hair and the way she had her African accent on point, she would have been an amazing Storm from X-Men. Now, I know it's too late because they're probably Hollywood's probably looking after younger talent to portray some of these newer characters that'll be coming into the X-Men franchises and other superhero franchises in the near future. So it would have been great to see Angela Bassett as Storm, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon or in the near future, especially since she's portraying T'Challa's mother at the time. Okay, let's see. As I mentioned before in past reviews that involve superheroes, it is the filmmaker's responsibility to introduce us to the character as if the audience has never read the comic books before. And both Coogler and co-writer Joe Robert Cole, he exceeded in telling the story and executed it well off the bat. Again, there were times I forgot that this was a Marvel movie. It was so well written with little references to previous Marvel entries. Coogler basically just wanted to focus on Black Panther and who he is, where he's from, what he represents, especially since this is the last film leading up to Avengers Infinity War. Um, and adding their own style and imagination, they introduced us to a whole new world. I was just really, really intrigued in this movie because, to be honest, I didn't really know too much about Black Panther, but what stood out for me the most was the essence of Wakanda itself in terms of the culture, how people live, how do people look like the you had strong, beautiful women in there. You had uh, them as bodyguards, as how they were representing themselves, the technology that you see in Wakanda, so futuristic, so over the top, and it explains why this place has been so held in secrecy from other people, and I really like that the directors and the screenwriters, both Coogler and Cole, exceeded that very well, and how T'Challa fits in all of this. It was all well and on point. Also, before I forget, Kendrick Lamar's soundtrack was incorporated very well throughout this movie. He has some very unique beats in his songs that really didn't distract the movie from enjoying it like Guardians of the Galaxy does sometimes with their music and in their soundtracks, but they kept it to a minimum and it fits well with the tone. I want to say that I'm glad that Ryan Coogler was able to work with Kendrick Lamar in this movie. He is a very talented rapper and individual pioneering what modern day hip hop should sound like, and I'm very happy that he was able to work on this movie. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know too much about Black Panther prior to his first appearance in Captain America Civil War. I knew who he was as a kid as he made several appearances in the X-Men and Spider-Man cartoon shows, and I've read maybe about two or three comics about him. So I knew who he was. I just wasn't as into him as much as I was with Spider-Man and Batman and other heroes like that. I do know that he is the richest superhero in the world. Like, he has more money than Iron Man, Batman, and you know any other superhero that has a lot of money. However, now that I've seen this movie, I do want to get more involved with this character and learn more about him. Now, Spider Man is my favorite superhero ever, but now I do want to include Black Panther as my second favorite or somewhere up on that level of, my favorite superheroes. Uh, the only other superhero comics I currently follow are Luke Cage, Cyborg, and the Falcon. I do catch up on Black Lightning that airs on CW sometimes, but now with this movie out, I hope that it is the first step in breaking down more barriers in the industry and portraying black people in a more strong, positive light. We are more than what we see in other movies prior, and I'm glad that this film exemplifies that. Now, I did mention, I do follow Luke Cage. As much as I love that show that was on Netflix, and I heard that season 2 of Luke Cage is gonna be out on Netflix sometime later this year. What I'm trying to say is, I wish Luke Cage was actually a movie. Like, I think that would have been, a good first step in getting more black superhero movies out into mainstream. But based on the tone and violence that we saw in Luke Cage on Netflix, I think it was um, more appropriate to have it on Netflix. But hopefully one day we'll see Luke Cage in an actual movie. I think that would be really cool to see. Maybe have him team up with Black Panther and Falcon or something like that. I don't know why I'm thinking about this old school movie called Three the Hard Way, where you have Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, and Jim Kelly teaming up to take on the bad guys in that movie. So I guess I'm thinking about, you got Black Panther, King of Wakanda, Falcon, a former U.S. veteran, and you got Luke Cage, the street smart, indestructible dude on the street. So anyway, I'm kind of off topic, but that's something that I just wanted to bring into more light. So to wrap this up, this was a great movie. Please go check it out. It has a ton of messages about family, pride, respect, culture, etc., etc. Please stay for the end credits as usual because this is, of course, a Marvel movie. This is the last movie until this May when Avengers Infinity War comes out. And as y'all know, and everybody knows, I cannot wait to see this movie, and I can't wait to see how Black Panther is going to fit in all of this. I know he is going to hook up Captain America with a new shield and maybe give Bucky Barnes, who we last saw at the end of Captain America's Civil War, being frozen in ice again. And I guess they're going to help him try to regain his senses and try not to turn evil again like he did in Civil War. But I'm sure they're going to hook him up with a vibranium arm. And I, I can't wait to see how Black Panther is going to be interacting with all the other Avengers in this movie. Like, you have Thor, who is also a king of Asgard. So one king to another. That's going to be cool to see how they interact. Plus, you got Doctor Strange, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and everybody else. I can't wait. This is going to be an amazing movie. For a warning, one warning that I will say is, as soon as those tickets come out, we need to get them as soon as possible because you already know people are going to be thirsty to see this movie. So, also, I mentioned Storm earlier. Now that Marvel has acquired most of 21st Century Fox's properties and everything like that, which included Marvel properties like X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool and all those guys. I wonder if they do a sequel to Black Panther, they introduce Storm into the sequel, or somehow incorporate her origins into there somehow, because in the comic books, Black Panther and Storm actually get married. So it would be cool to see, you know, Storm get introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and get a backstory of her origins and everything like that. But that's just, fingers crossed. You never know. Anything can happen now with these movies nowadays. But like I said, great movie. Uh, check it out. Don't feel afraid to dress up. I saw a lot of people when I was in the theater wearing dashikis and Black Panther attire and everything like that. So have fun when you see the movie, And as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode of Matt's Movies Moments. Peace out.